thought we were
But
friends.
listen. But it was valid though. It was valid. Like you can't say it wasn't valid. I'm never gonna disrespect without intent.
I mean,
Right? And the intent is always to just help get some perspective.
look, that's fair.
You were 7.
That's
I was 7.
fair.
You
You were 7.
You were not.
I wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, like you didn't. You were nothing.
I was loosely a concept.
Couple cells. Loosely. Oh, you didn't even get the cells yet.
The concept of a plan. I had no. August. Shit, I was born September 99. So
a full year. Oh, you were a full year after.
Mm-hmm.
A full year after the album came out.
So what would that be? August, September, October, November, December. I was like 4 months from being
even anything.
a thought.
Crazy. So we know the perspective. We know the time. Like hip hop was not yet really hip hop. Wasn't mainstream. It was mainstreaming. Biggie and Tupac were gone.
Yeah.
So there was that like void in hip hop. Movies. I'm trying to think what movies were out in '98. We didn't get.
Oh, FloJo died in '98.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. James Boyd Jr. 1998. June.
Not yet The Matrix. Ooh, Super Bowl. Let me Google this real quick for me.
Yeah, what's up?
Google this. Super Bowl winner 1998. Mind you, I'm 7. So this was the
You want to say yes?
Denver Broncos.
Yeah, there you go.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
John Elway versus Brett Favre.
Come on.
John Elway won.
Mm-hmm.
Go Broncos. Ooh, should I get Darius score 34-20?
Let's see.
I don't even think that's close.
31-24. Come on.
Mind you.
Who was MVP?
John Elway.
No, yes. Yes.
TD number 30, the dog.
Come on. How much he rushed for?
I don't know. 108, 2 tutties.
157 and 3 touchdowns.
One guy went off. Back in the day, when running backs were running back. Shout out to Terrell Davis.
That's crazy.
I know you're listening.
This victory broke a 13-game losing streak for AFC teams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was down. They were down bad.
Wow.
They were down bad. So now we have some perspective about when this album came out.
Yep.
Should we just keep going?
It's not Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
No! 98 was such a good year.
That's hilarious.
98 was such a good year until that happened.
Hilarious.
Dang.
He gave a speech to the National Bar Association in Memphis, Tennessee.
You know what's wild?
Look at him, shucking and jiving.
That was 98. You were yet but a bunch of cells. That man's going to be in that same seat for another decade.
Oh, yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Oh, no.
God take everything but what needs to be taken.
The Miseducation of Clarence Thomas.
Yes.
The hell of an album.
Yes. What else we got? Sharon Farmer, first Black woman to be named chief White House photographer.
Okay.
Accompanied the Clintons to Ghana.
First and first.
Shit. The Clintons shouldn't have ever come back. This was the first
Kept their ass right where they were.
That was the first mistake. Black business was the theme for Black History Month.
98.
Forgot they used to do themes for Black History Month.
I have to get back to that. Quick little revamp.
Did we have a theme this year? Well, it would have been the 100th year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Since the United National Negro Week.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, century was the theme this year. Century of Black History commemorations. Woo! All right.
So,
tell me about your book.
We're back.
Wait, let me lock this door first before we actually get started, because what I don't want to happen is
somebody be too eager for some books. Too eager to get some learning.
People be doing that. They like come in and they're like, "Are you open?"
You see the sign?
I'm like,
"You're here for a book, right?"
Right.
Yo, you should say that to someone. You're here for a book. You know how to read? Because like there's a sign
right there.
Right there.
Does it say we're open?
When we're open, I turn it.
Yeah.
And it says open.
You would be shocked the amount of people
See, I couldn't
on
I
a
couldn't
regular basis.
That's what I would say. Because I wouldn't want anyone in the store. I would never want anyone in here. I would just want to be in here by myself with the books because I'm selfish like that.
Yeah, there's pros and cons. Sometimes the customers really annoy me.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly like because all them tech people coming up from like Arizona and Texas.
And what are they looking for?
When I tell you they're looking for like not shit we got here. I don't even know what they're looking for. I don't even think they know what they're looking for.
I don't think they're looking for books.
Like, but no, it's bad. Like we had last week, there was 4 folks that came in, completely different times, and they were all from Arizona, and they came here for tech. And I was like, "You're coming to Philly for tech?"
Yeah.
It's like, why? Like, why? Where are you living? Of course, they living down in the luxury condos and on the water.
Yep. That makes sense. That tracks.
Like,
that tracks. They just keep like multiplying like it's The Sims.
No, literally. It's The Sims is crazy. But that's literally what it is. And I'm just like, okay, like this is, and then they'll be like, well, do you have this, this, and this? And I'll be like, well, why don't you have this? Does it look like we carry that? Like, just like survey your surroundings. Like, I had someone come in and ask me who Harriet was last week. I was like, you know what, respectfully, you can just leave. I need you to pick up any one of these books on this wall and just leave. I need reparations for that question.
Next time that happens, just put a book on my tab. Just give them the book. Put that joint on my tab. I'll take care of it the next time I'm in here because that is an emergency. It's an actual emergency.
It was so bad. They walked in. They were like, "Oh, are you Harriet?"
I was like, you should have said yes. You should have said yes. You should have said yes and just started going in as if you were the Queen Harriet.
They were like
Sergeant Harriet something. Lieutenant Captain Admiral.
They were like, well, who's Harriet?
No.
I was like, homie.
No.
Like, nothing? Not a thought? Not a thought?
You know, we don't do that anymore.
We lose it MLK, but I was just like, shit, not Harriet.
Those thoughts have gone out of style.
It's bad.
All right, let's get into it. Yes. Because that's a perfect intro to how important it is to read books and listen to good music. Read books and listen to good music. Music that positively impacts your brain. You know,
music that's soul. Like that's the thing. We got to get back to like lyrics that mean something. And
right, so what's on your roster today? What's your book?
We got A Black Queer History of the United States. I don't want to hear anything about it until y'all understand what we're looking at. And that is by Riley Snorton and Darius Bost. And then we got What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. Because what's going on?
What? It's a phenomenal question. It was then, it is now.
My man stay asking that question. What's going on?
He has. My roster today, I've got, my book is The Alchemist. Pretty well-known book. A lot of copies sold. Very simple. Some people don't like that about the book, but
yeah, The Alchemist is like a bite-sized read.
Well, listen.
It's bite-sized, but it's like
I started the group off with The Invisible Man last time. So we went from 500 to about 110 pages.
Yeah.
Album this week is one of my favorites of all time, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
But,
which, as you so lovingly informed me.
Yeah. So Lauryn Hill made this album. She was working on 96, 97. Came out in 98. Album was made partially in New York.
Yep.
Partially in Kingston, Jamaica.
Yep.
The home of Bob Marley. Lauryn Hill was a member of the Fugees, left the Fugees, left the relationship with Fuji bandmate, right? Wyclef Jean. That's in the album.
And that's
we're gonna get into all the stuff around the album, but we gotta do this. We gotta set the scene for everyone. And me and Kay were talking. Kay wasn't born until a year after this album came out, 1998. So we had to, wait for Kay to get here so we could have this conversation. She wasn't here when the album was made.
Stays throwing shade.
The 1990s, long time ago, but a lot of the stuff on there. That stuff on there, like that album. We even started talking about this because I found this album to be like one of the most important ones for me.
Yes.
It was one of the first things I listened to. Like I was a kid, right?
Yes.
So I was 7. I wasn't much older I mean, I was older than Kay. She was more, but like I wasn't old enough to really grasp everything.
Let's count. Every time Jay says that, you got to flip a page in your book, right?
There we go. Instead of the drinking thing, we'll do the page game.
You just got to flip a page. That's where you start.
That's good stuff. That's real good stuff. We're counting pages now. So 1998, I was not old enough to really be choosing my own music. When I was at home with my parents,
that's real.
It was gospel.
Yep.
Right? When I was home with my grandma, it was more gospel.
It was more gospel.
And some Aretha. She got down with Aretha Franklin, who
is gospel.
Who is gospel.
Right.
And also, you know, Lauryn Hill was doing some songwriting for her.
Yes.
When I was with my cousins, who were more like my sisters, my older cousins, who lived right across the street with grandma and their moms.
Come on, family block.
We had the whole block. So when they came over, my parents were again in the gospel music. We cleaned the gospel. We listened to gospel. That was it. We
That's it.
Gospel.
That's Mississippi Mass Choir.
If there's anything but the gospel, see, we were more of like a Kurt Franklin, Mary type of house.
New age.
That new age. My parents were the cool, cool gospel parents. You feel me? So my parents were cool, but not with the music. So all my cousins, aka my older sisters, came over to the crib. They wanted to be there because that was a cool place to be.
Yep.
But you couldn't watch music videos. So I was a little rat. I was a little snitch, right? I was just this little 6-7-year-old snitch, right? And every single time, like these are my older sisters, right? So I'm just being a brat. Anytime they watched any music video, I started screaming up the top of the steps, going to find my dad. Yo, they're watching music videos. You come in, make them turn it off, cut on the gospel music.
Hey,
right? Like we were even the house that had the blocker. Like the blocker, but it wasn't that you couldn't block the whole channel. Like you could still access the channel.
Yep.
There would just be a big black
screen. You ain't gonna see anything
over
that's
like
on it.
68% of the screen.
Crazy.
So you could still watch and like see eyes and ears, but you couldn't see most of it, right? It was hilarious. The 90s were a great time.
Yeah.
90s were a great time. And I think what's really cool about this album is that it has concepts, it has themes that are innovative for the time, but still applicable to now.
Yes.
And the way that she was able to blend different types and different genres of music, like this is considered a hip hop album.
Yes.
But like 3 of the tracks are really hip hop. There's R&B,
but
there's soul,
there's
jazz.
Yeah.
Where you can put it into one, right? Everything is everything. You can call that a hip hop song, right? She goes in and she spits hot fire on those bars.
Yes.
Like, but to Zion, that's not a hip hop song. That's not, I don't even know if that's an R&B. I don't know what that is. That's just a song from a mom about the love of her life, her son. Yeah, like that's
a love
letter. That's a really crazy thing to have on a hip hop album.
It's a story, and that's what I think was so revolutionary about that album, right? Is it's like that's a complete story. Yeah. You go on an entire journey. You got the roll call, and then you go and close it out. Like that is one of those albums where every single track is laid with intention. You got every ghetto, every city. It's its own individual narrative, right? You got Final Hour. You got
bars.
Tell Him. Like you got every kind of thing in there.
And everything you just listed, people would consider those throwaways.
Oh, 100%.
Like those aren't the bops. Those 100%. Aren't the mainstream ones, but they still hit.
I still maintain Every Ghetto, Every City is one of the best tracks on that album.
100%.
100%.
100%. So is this like in your top hip hop albums of all time? Because some people say yes, some people say no. Some people include her in the list of GOATs. Some people don't.
I think you have to, because I think without Lauryn, you don't get the rest. You don't get what we understand now as hip hop, right? I think the risks that she took politically, I think the risks that she took socially during that time too, for this album in particular, and the way this album came together, like you don't get that. You don't get the intention of where she was even making music, right? Like understanding that this can't just be Western centric. We got to move outside of the bounds of the US to understand music, to understand story differently. I think that's why this album resonates so widely, because like her creative process was not centered in capitalism. It wasn't centered in the West. And I think you see that a lot, right? I think that's why James Baldwin's work resonates. Like, he spent a lot of his life in Paris.
Mhm.
A lot of his best work was written when he was in Paris. You look at Debbie Allen, who moved to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you look at the moving in and out of the bounds of the US, you with Toni Morrison, like, you have to do that in order to create something that lasts. And I think Lauryn understood that in a time where hip hop was very
He was young still.
it was young and it was
Changing.
very, like, concentrated in a way. And I think her expanding it in this way, bringing in multiple genres, bringing in story in the way that she did.
That's an interesting point. I never thought of that. Like, I've made the connection that, yeah, she brought in different places into the music and her different experiences in those places, but I never really made the connection to what she was doing relative in that sense of geography to the
Yeah.
rest of hip hop. Like, you still had everything was like, oh, you got this sound because you're from LA, or you had this sound in New York.
Yes.
And right, it was still in the 90s, like Outkast was just getting on, right?
Right,
So like
exactly.
Outkast was just really kind of mainstreaming that
And you got
southern type of hip hop.
you got Missy Elliott in that era too, right?
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but, like, everyone really sonically wasn't unbound like you said, like
Right.
Lauryn was. I mean, even her skits, right? This album is crazy with the skits
Yeah.
and the intention in the order that the tracks are listed. So I think it starts off it's this process where she goes from hurt to healed to growth. And like I can even give you the
Yes.
songs. Like Lost Ones is a crazy diss track. Like she's coming in, she spends the first two songs just
Yes.
getting at Wyclef. She
100%.
spends the first two songs of her
100%.
first solo piece of art
Uh-huh.
getting at him.
Mhm.
Lost Ones goes crazy.
Yep.
X Factor goes crazy.
And then she goes to Zion.
Right? She gets through that hurt portion. She has that healed portion, and that healed portion is I think punctuated by everything is everything. Right? Everything is
Mm.
everything. She realizes, yo, like
Yes.
kind of everything is within me, but everything everywhere
Yeah.
is also impacted by what I do.
Yes.
Right? She realizes the power she has. She has a bar in there where she says, uh I'm a rapper and an actress, and compares herself to Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And then she goes straight into comparing herself to Nefertiti.
Yes.
Right? Like she goes through this whole thing. She says something about the constellations open up in conversations. Like she's expanding all the way out,
Right.
just to come straight back to the smallest thing, which is how she sees and loves herself.
Exactly.
Like that is that process that you have to go through.
To understand yourself as a constellation, and I think that's the thing too, like, you look at that even, right? Like, again, taking this out of the West.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't see abundance in the way that you can when you are only in the US, and, like, that's just the facts of it. You have to be able to and, that's why part of the project is to keep people here, like,
Yeah.
and to make it difficult to travel, to make it difficult to be transient people, because at
Mm,
our core, we're transient people. We're
mm.
multifaceted, we're multidimensional. Um, and I think what she did with that comparison, like that constellation, we are all each other. Like, we are the sum of everything that came before us. And that song for me, yes, that's the pinnacle of healing.
That's that's facts. And like I think the song actually starts off introducing that idea that you
Yeah.
have to what does she say? How does she say it? Um Basically she says this song is for everyone who's been youthful, who's been young
Yes.
and
Yes.
thought there was more and was told there wasn't,
Yep.
and then still decided to go get the more.
Right. Right.
That's
And
fast. That's
know
like
that it's there.
and the trust that you know it's there, and that comes up throughout the album, especially in that middle part, that healing portion.
That middle track list, I would say from what is it? I would honestly say it starts with Zion.
Yeah, as soon as she's done getting
Right.
at Wyclef,
She
it
goes to
switches over.
Zion, she goes to Doo-Wop, That Thing,
Yep.
Superstar, and Final Hour. And I think that is the arc
Mm-hmm.
for me, that
Mm-hmm.
healing arc. And then you get into when it hurts so bad, it's going back down,
Yeah.
right? Because you got to go up and then you got to come back down to get to that.
But even in that, like there's lesson in that. I think she
100%.
ends everything is everything with finding the lesson and the loss, and that's on display in When It Hurts So Bad. Because it
Yes.
hurts so bad, but she's also saying eventually it's gonna feel good.
Yes.
Right? Because you're gonna have overcome that hurt.
Yep.
And you're gonna be stronger for it, but you actually have to process it.
Yes.
Right? Like that's this piece of art is so there were songs on here that she was writing for other people.
And writing for
Right?
cities and
Yeah.
communities. Like, that's every ghetto, every city.
And but she was literally writing these as a songwriter for other artists.
Yes.
And they got
You're right.
so personal
Yep.
that she had to keep it. Because it's such a raw, and I think that
And thank God she did.
is part of why we never got another
Yes.
project from her. Another mainstream project, right? Like it was so
Mm.
much. She was 22. She was 22 or 23 when this came out. So she's so
Forgot about it
young.
like that.
And you got to think too, she was young enough to have the foresight. I don't know if a 40-year-old, 30-year-old artist, 25-year-old artist even is going to have the wherewithal to be like, yo, I'm going to have kids on this album. Right? Because she was a kid not that long ago.
Yeah.
Right? When she made this. And she had the kids in every skit.
Well,
The
that's one of the
whole piece
things
is
too.
crazy.
Yep.
Like she had the dude running for mayor
You
who
open
was a
with them
teacher.
babies.
She opens
Yep.
up and they're talking about love. Like they're talking about love.
Yes.
Right? And like there's gospel in that in the sense that like you have kids. I'm imagining dude was sitting in a chair.
Uh-huh.
Kids are sitting around him.
Yep.
Right? And they're having that conversation back and forth. And you learn as much from the teacher asking the questions as the kids answering those questions. And it's so
Yes.
simple.
Yes.
It's the simplest things that they're saying, but they're being vulnerable,
Oh,
right?
yes. Oh,
And
yes.
two, kids will readily say, I don't know. They don't know the answer, but those kids
They worked through
were
it.
bold enough to work through it and
Yep.
brave enough to work through it and walk through it. And they had the space to do it. And for everyone who doesn't have that space, like that album still is that place in space that you can go back to.
Yes.
If you're having questions, like that's an album that you can go and get something from.
Yes.
The more you listen to it, and that's my thing. Like we can move on to the next piece in a moment, but like that was what that album has been from the time I was 7 and like
Right.
listening to it and not hearing it, but like liking it.
Yes.
Right? I liked it because like
Yes.
I grew up with all older girl cousins.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
that like one, they played it all the time.
Right.
And two, that was the type of hip hop that I then got used to. Like that she
Yes.
introduced really that conscious rap.
Right.
Right? She brought that conscious hip hop where you could say some really heavy shit, but in a way that had flow and had bars and you could rap
Yeah.
on it. And that I think is one of the biggest pieces that she broke in and brought into the art form. But for me, like it started off as just something that sounded good. Then it became something that felt good. And then it
Yeah.
became something that was like a time capsule almost
That's
of
a beautiful way
what
to
you
put
can
it.
have.
Yeah.
And she has, I forget, I don't, oh my goodness, the song escapes me, but where she talks about how you have to be able to look back and look forward. Like you want
Yes.
to look back and remember that, hey, it's hard being younger.
I think that's Nothing Even Matters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. She talks about how we have to,
Yeah.
if you think it's hard now, right? And that's perfect for right now. Right now is a hard time. But also being 17 or 14 or
Right.
13 or however old those kids were is hard too. Right? And it's
Exactly.
hard now in this setting. So let's not forget when we're trying to rush the kids along or we're expecting them to do this or do that and we haven't shown them the way.
Right.
This is the type of music that shows you the way. It shows you how to feel your emotions. Right? Like
Yes.
I feel like every teenager should listen to this. This should be homework.
It's
This
a
should be something to
lesson.
talk about.
It's a lesson. It's a vulnerability. It's a lesson in vulnerability of love. And that's why this album is so audacious and it's so endearing because she put love at the core of hip hop.
Yeah.
in a time where we had people dying in the year that this came out, right? Like, you know, you lost Flojo, you lost shit, you had James Boyd, like
as far as hip hop, like we're just off of Biggie and Pop.
right.
Like a few years removed of
Right.
the two biggest icons.
And so there's so much there's death is palpable, right? As it always is. But I think opening this with kids being vulnerable in the act of love, right? Working through what it means to love in a world that constantly tells you that this isn't it's not possible. It's not a possibility, right? Leading in love is not a possibility when there's so much pain. And for me, that's what makes this album revolutionary. Is she kept love at the core. She kept and when you keep love at the core, you can keep curiosity at the core. You can keep self-empowerment at the core. You can keep pain at the core, but you can keep pain at the core in a way that doesn't cause people more pain. And I think
doesn't cause you more pain.
Yes, that's what's so beautiful about this album.
Now, what's amazing is how perfectly you just tied that straight into The Alchemist.
And I was gonna say, take it from the top.
Thank you, because the whole point of The Alchemist is right in line with that, right? It's the whole point is to find, and I love this.
Yes.
Your personal legend.
Yes.
Your personal legend. What a fun way. What an impactful, memorable way to describe purpose.
Oh,
right?
100%.
And life is nothing without purpose and meaning.
No.
And this book is all about going on the journey to find that for yourself. So
what brought you to this book and what was your main takeaway?
Brought me to it? Like for this time or forever?
In this time, what brought you to this book and what will bring you back? Because this isn't a book you
So this isn't the first time I've read this. This is number 4. And I'm actually gonna go through it one more time because I'm gonna gift it to one of my athletes.
Okay.
I feel like he's different.
Yeah.
He's got that potential.
Yep.
But when you're in an environment that isn't conducive for the growth of that, you have to know how to find it.
Yes.
In that space.
Yes.
No matter where you are, you have to know how to grow and learn, and that's what this story is all about. So there's a shepherd boy who is great at being a shepherd, loves his sheep, loves his flock. He's great at taking care of them, but he wants to go explore the world.
Yes.
He wants to go find his own personal legend. And he meets all these different characters who give him different lessons, some that he learns from, some that he has to unlearn from. And it's just that the whole point is that life is hard.
Yes.
Loss is inevitable.
Yes.
But it's all worth it if you're on your own mission.
Exactly.
Right? If you're on the mission one to find love for yourself.
Right.
Who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming.
That piece. Wait, that piece. I need you to run that back, right? Because we don't think enough about that. And I think we gotta look at ourselves in 3 parts always. Past, present, and future. And what you are doing in the present is nurturing both the past and the future.
Yep.
And I think you understand responsibility in the present differently when you move with that weight. Like what I do today is going to shape how I show up in the future. So is my investment in today getting me to a spot that I'm going to be proud of in the future? And if we ask ourselves that question, if we lead with that, we get a lot of different outcomes.
You really don't go wrong.
No, you can't.
You don't go wrong. Like you might not end up in the exact destination that you thought when you set out on your journey, but you're going to be happy with the direction.
And you're going to be okay with it.
The velocity is going to change, right? How fast you're going is going to change time to time. Sometimes you're going to be moving. You're going to feel like, yo, I'm in flow. I'm hitting all my marks, all my benchmarks, my metrics, my goals. Everything's turning up my favor. And then, boom, you slow down.
Right.
Right? Can you manage that slowdown?
And can you learn from it? And that's the thing, like peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that album, peaks and valleys.
So the fact that the main character is a shepherd, I think is a great starting point.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a simple life. It's a relationship built in trust.
Yes.
Like the sheep have to trust you. They have to trust. It doesn't take much for them, as much as it does with a human,
Right.
especially trust in yourself. But
Right.
it's somewhere that you can see the value of trust. They'll follow that man anywhere.
Yes.
They'll follow him anywhere because they know that he's gonna make sure they
Yes.
don't get eaten by wolves.
Right.
And he knows that they're gonna eat. They're gonna have
Yes.
water.
Yep.
They're gonna be good. That's all they need. Their basic needs are met. So
Whew.
survival,
And
right?
basic needs are met. Basic needs
But when
are
we
met.
see, and then I got into a whole nother thing where I started exploring men's, like in my own mind, what does that mean to be that sheep? Right? I started thinking about it from the sheep's perspective because I think that as we stop challenging ourselves intellectually, we become more sheepish. Right? As we stop challenging ourselves physically, we become more sheepish.
That's a bar.
When we stop challenging ourselves financially or spiritually or as community, we become more sheepish.
Yeah.
Right? We trade our agency, our ownership, our access, and our opportunity just to survive.
And that's
it's
really
expensive and exhausting to survive.
It's expensive, but you don't realize how expensive it is until you are looking up 5 years later and you see that you wasted the last 5 years.
And that's a terrifying thing, right? And those 5 years are going to happen no matter what.
Yes.
Right? If the shepherd did or did not go on his journey for his personal legend, that time is going to pass.
Yes.
The time is going to pass.
Time is always
what are you going to do with it?
Exactly.
What are you going to do with it? And he set out. Eventually, his mission was to see the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks, and I thought this was fascinating because I was going through this as the Olympics were going, and you hear about how Olympians do all this work to win gold.
Yeah.
And then they wake up the next day and their life doesn't feel any different. They spent years and blood and sweat and tears for this goal.
Yes.
But you have to fall in love with the process.
Yes.
You have to fall in love with learning, with becoming who you're becoming. And like the journey is where you're going, but what's happening day to day in that journey is what gives it meaning and what makes it matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think even with this book, right, it's written in such a way where you're brought to that realization alongside the main character, right? Like, it's not, you're in it.
Oh, that's good.
And I think that's one of the things, like, when you read this, be prepared to ask yourselves the questions that are being asked of the shepherd. And that's how you're going to get the most out of this book, is participating in the journey itself.
Yeah, it's like reading and thinking.
Right,
It's a fun book in that sense because it always is going to apply to whatever you're doing in that moment. You can always revisit this one.
And that's
but
why,
it's not going to say, hey, step 1 is this.
No.
Step 2 is this.
No.
Rule number 46
If you're looking for a guidebook, that's not, but a guidebook is for sheep.
This will guide you if you are actively engaged.
Yeah.
And willing to challenge yourself and be vulnerable. And like, honestly, I really think that pairing these two together, this book and this album, is a perfect, that can be a guidebook. That can be your personal guidebook as you 100%. Go searching that personal legend.
100%. You run that all the way through and then read the book.
Go.
Or chapter by chapter.
And then tell us
what you song, read a chapter.
Like for real. Like, do it and tell us what you think.
Yes. Yes. Definitely share your thoughts.
So what's going on?
Your journey. Because as Marvin Gaye said, what's going on? Okay, so this month I took a little bit of a risk with this book because I know how pervasive and how controversial this topic is, for Black folks especially. And so I read a queer Black history of the United States.
You went double superlative.
Yeah.
You went double.
Yeah. Yep.
Bold.
Yeah. Because you don't get, and here, okay. So, Queer Black History of the United States is the first ever book that centers queer voices, and it traces the lives of LGBTQ Americans from slavery to present day.
Wait, hold on. There were black gay queer people in slavery times?
Yes.
Oh goodness. So much to learn.
Yeah, and basically the argument is like gender and sexual expression have been an intricate part of the Black freedom struggle. So we don't get free without queer people. And I think that is something that our history continually neglects for many reasons. The church, I think, is a big reason, right? And as a queer person who was socialized in the church, um, it's very interesting to begin to unpack how liberation is bound up in theocracy in a way that doesn't
Mm,
allow us to understand and see queer
mm.
people. So I think just first, like, what do we mean when we say queer, right? I think when folks hear queer, when folks even just hear LGBTQIA, 2S plus, all the things, it's like, what do I know about that? What have I heard about that? And what are the myths that circulate about that, right? We think of queer, I think when we think of any of these things, we always lead with like romantic connection. We always lead with like sexual connection because that's what we're taught to lead with
Mhm.
in society. And to be queer is to fundamentally see the world in a different way. And that's what I want people to understand. Like, it is not just based on sex, it's based on how you think, how you move, how you show up, any of those things. Um, and I have always maintained that Black people are inherently queer by nature because we move in a white supremacist society as the not the default, right? So it's like
Hmm.
to be Black and queer, to be Black in the United States is to constantly be fighting a narrative that is given to us, that is subscribed to us. And I think if we open up our understanding of what it means to be queer to that, to be like abundant, to be working against the normative narratives, we see this very, very differently. And we understand everything, right? As abundant as queer. Um, and so this book in particular covers a couple stories of queer and trans folks. Kathy Williams was born female and enlisted in the army as a male in the mid 1860s, which is
Damn.
crazy to think
Damn.
about. 1860.
Whew.
Like
Yo, hold on. What's this person's name?
Kathy Williams.
Kathy Williams
Yeah.
is just like the Black American Mulan.
Uh-huh.
Yo, where's the movie at? Where is the movie? Don't steal that IP. That's ours. That is ours.
Hilarious. Yes.
Yo,
I had never made that connection.
let's go.
Wow. Yeah. And then you have Josephine Baker, which I think to some extent we all know Josephine Baker. Dancer, and entertainer, intellectual. Again, someone who did not spend a lot of time in the US. Spent the majority of her career in Paris. And was openly bisexual during the entirety of her career. We have Bayard Rustin, who has a movie now. And a lot of people don't know that Bayard Rustin was actually the driver of the civil rights movement. We do not have the civil rights movement as we understand it without Bayard Rustin.
Nope. Everybody has a role, and his was to organize everybody. Without
He
him,
was the
there's no linchpin.
mastermind.
There's no spoke in the wheel.
Yep. And he wasn't platformed because he was open about the fact that he was gay, and that was seen as a risk to the movement, right? So similar to Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King was seen as the more palatable figure, right? That respectability politic, was the preacher, was the intellectual, had the wife, all
Could
of the
go into the
things.
Yes.
Yes.
Have the conversations with, because again,
Yeah.
if you're trying to have that conversation uh with the American structure, right? The actual people who
You gotta
lead
be
that
the
structure, you
closest.
gotta be able to, right?
Yep.
And whether that's, as you're sitting here talking about, like, man, that sucks. But that's the reality for that moment. It's hard to balance that and to be able to be by arrested and be that person who can remove that emotion.
Yeah.
That has to be hurtful. That has to be painful. That has to like right? It has to piss you off. But not moving that emotion and moving that logic to lead a movement like that is wild.
And to also know that like it's not your time, right? Like he knew he had to put his own identity to the side, whether he was, forced to, wanted to, whatever the fact, because he knew that the bigger project was bigger than him at this moment, right? People wouldn't be able to hold that as well as liberation for Black Americans in this way, in the civil rights era. And you can also say a couple things about MLK. Like he wasn't by any means perfect, but he was the closest we had to that perfect figure to platform, right? And then Amanda Milan was a Black trans woman whose murder in 2000 unified trans people across the community. Was brutally, brutally murdered. And it was one of the first like major landmark national news making situations. So each chapter in this book kind of chronicles the lives of those people, and it's broken up into two sections. So the book itself, the first section is really focusing on like proofs of existence. So that's part one.
What's that mean?
Proofs of existence. So what you were saying earlier, like, oh, there was gay people in the 1800s. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So were.
There was queer people in the 1800s. Yes. So just understanding the history of colonialism and slavery, and understanding queer by any other name. Because that's a thing that happened too. A lot of times, we saw ways that people would move, but they wouldn't call it queer because it wasn't safe to do so. So understanding and exploring that history of how a lot of queer erasure took place with popular figures that we know and love because it wasn't safe to say queer. So understanding that historical erasure. And then part two moves into we cannot live without our lives is the kind of overarching title of section 2 of the book. And it includes coming together, survival is not a luxury, and then after we've created our own history. And one thing this book does really beautifully is the after isn't violent, right? Because I think a lot of times when you look at the history of whether it's Black folks, whether it's queer people, whether it's both of those things together, it's often a sad ending, right? Like they were either excommunicated from their community, they were either hidden in the shadows, in the case of Bayard Rustin and Josephine Baker. But this book sets a precedent for what comes after we've actually gone back and written ourselves into history. And it's a really beautiful kind of way to understand like what actually is queer now in this world. What does it mean to be queer in this world? And that's this book. It's a history, so it's a little bit dense, but the way that it's broken up and the way that it platforms those 4 people in particular, makes it an easier read. It's not
How's
like
the history written? Is it written in like a storytelling way about these people and like who they were, who was around them, the characters that were in their lives and how those relationships were?
Yeah, and that's what I really love about this book is like the integrity of the people is maintained.
Okay.
And the history of the people, and yes, who they were, how they were moving, how they weren't allowed to move, is really something that has a lot of care around it. So you do feel like you're going on a journey with these folks and these characters, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, like, you kind of think of, at least for me, like there were some things with Josephine Baker even that I learned in this book that I didn't necessarily know just how abhorrent her treatment was. I think a lot of times when we hear about Josephine Baker, we hear, she kind of lived this dual life,
Mhm.
right? And it was something that she did proudly, but there's a couple instances in this book where it became very clear, like, she didn't have a choice but to be this way. And so she took that as, I'm going to empower myself. I'm going to heal myself enough to know that I'm going to make this choice, but it was also a choice that was made for her. Um,
Mm.
and so that was something that gave me pause and was newer information to me, newer context. Um, so yeah, pick up this book. Even if you just read one of the stories, I would really recommend, especially Bayard Rustin's section, because it really reshapes how we understand the civil rights era and the people that were powering that movement, right?
But then you also can take that and apply that to today, right? Like
Yes.
that's
Yes.
there's politicians that, that have had to take a back seat
Yes.
because they didn't fit the mold. Still.
Yes. And that's the thing, like, when you're reading this book, that's a really good point, Jay. Like, ask yourself the question of who's missing. And I know we do that all the time with like black history in general, but when we're thinking about black queer history, it's another question, right?
Mhm.
Even when the history is black, ask yourselves who is still missing though? Because in a lot of these movements, they were
For
powered by queer folks.
Mhm.
And so it's always queer and trans folks. So it's always really important. And that was one of my takeaways is it's like, okay, what movements do I need to go back to and revisit? And then also today, where do we see this erasure happening today, right? Um, and what does that look like politically? You can say a lot of things
Yeah.
for that.
I'm even sitting here trying to think, and like I truthfully can only think of Buttigieg as like the
Mhm.
the example, but I'm sure there's so many others, right? Like
100%.
that's at the presidential level,
Yeah.
right? That's like a national election
Yep.
that was impacted and like
Yes.
heavily influenced. Like even the second time around when he was being considered for VP, right?
Yes.
You can't do a come on. You imagine if you have Trump on one side, and it don't matter who else,
Right?
but then you got a black Southeast Asian woman,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
They're gonna say what they're gonna say about her,
Oh,
and you got a white guy, but he's gay.
yeah.
What? In this
Yeah.
economy?
Yeah.
In this America?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know when that changes if we don't start to have more conversations like this
Yeah.
that open up your mind and open up your expansion and like realize that people are people.
Yes.
So like people have gifts. Let's let these people express their gifts. And like there's a theme. There's a
Yes.
theme between all these pieces of art this month.
Yeah.
And it's that theme of Josephine Baker stood in who she was, even when
Yes.
it was hard because she loved herself enough to do it.
And
It's
that
so
right
much
there
easier.
is the piece. And this is why I always say queer folks are some of the most purest
Mhm.
expressions of love because to move in a world as black and queer in a space that tells you that you are not wanted, that
Mhm.
you are not valued, and you are
You
not
don't
protected,
matter. Yeah.
that is the biggest act of courage and self-love that a person can have.
100%.
Um and so, when we say that, like that self love piece, that understanding queer as an expression of love, it only makes us all better. And, we even see Pennsylvania has Malcolm Kenyatta.
Mhm.
And we see like there's so many politicians that are at the lower levels that just aren't platformed because they have this other thing that the world is not ready to receive. Um Right, right, right. So, yeah, it's important to have these conversations for sure and to always, as we make strides from a Black history perspective and rewriting that history, it's how are we also writing in queer people? How are we also then loving ourselves enough to know that it's okay if someone moves through the world differently? Because if I understand that about this person, I'm going to understand the world better.
Yeah.
And that's really it. And that's love, to open yourself up to the world like that.
I'm gonna go off for one rant, and then we gotta get to this.
Yeah. Yes.
It's so stupid. Like, it's dense, it's dumb, it's you gotta tell me why. You gotta tell me why, right? So like my pops put this idea in my head when I was a kid, right? Give me that talk about race.
Yes.
Right? Because like I went to that space where I was other.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I went to a predominantly white elementary school. That shit is like war, bro. Like warfare.
Yeah.
Mental and emotional warfare because my skin was different.
Yes.
Right? And I didn't realize that at all the time.
But you could feel it.
But like I walked around with it. It was like walking around with this like heavy thing on me.
Yeah.
And until I was bold enough and brave enough and like honestly old enough to really understand.
Yeah.
That shit hurt. It was and I don't understand why it hurt.
Right.
What Pops told me, he was like, if you ask somebody who's racist why they're racist, they probably don't know. They probably don't even know. Like you're an asshole to someone and you don't know why.
Right.
Right? Like to me and it's rooted in supremacy and power.
Yes.
And maintaining white power, white supremacy.
Yes.
But to me, I grew up kindness is power. I'm gonna be kind first. I'll be honest
100%.
I want to give you space first.
Yeah.
But then when you break that trust,
it's gone.
Those boundaries.
Yep.
Cross those barriers. God forbid for you if it's physical.
No.
Right? Because once it's physical, you're not gonna like that.
Right. Right.
And if you make it emotional, we can get right.
Look.
Kindness is power.
Right.
That's real power.
Right.
Intelligence is real power. Be smart enough to ask why. Why can't I? Why do I care about what this person does?
Yeah.
Why do I care so much about how they see the world?
Yes.
Why am I so active?
Yes.
Trying to keep them from having something.
Yes.
That is ignorance.
Right.
Right? Because again, you've been convinced. We can take what Lauryn said about being convinced.
100%.
We can take what's in the out.
100%. Yep.
We can take what's right.
Any of the stories from these folks. Yes.
And be like, all right, cool. Are you worried about yourself and your personal life? Are you worried about your purpose in finding meaning?
Yes.
Or are you putting stuff out because you're trying to fill a void?
Right.
You gotta fill that void within yourself.
Right.
Or
yeah.
You get to anything else.
And
just don't be ignorant.
But you said something so important that I really want to like zero in on, right? To be intellectual is to be able to pause and to be able to consider. And that's the thing, like we got a lot of people who are not moving in very intellectual ways. And it's like the same consideration that we ask the world to give our history is the same consideration that we should be giving to others whose history differs from our own. And it's like
y'all are not listening, okay? Run that back. Go back, hit the button 15 seconds.
You got us there. You got us there.
Because go. I don't even have anything to say because you said it.
That's it. We can just leave it on that.
Change the world.
We can just leave it on that.
The same way that Marvin Gaye was out here.
Look, and then we got what's going on. Because you know why he asked that? Because he was an intellectual and he wanted to pause. What's going on? Tell me what's going on.
Please tell me.
Look. Right. Right.
He was saying that on the vinyl.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, we move on to my track for the month. Is none other than Marvin Gaye. It genius in so many ways. 1971 was when this album came out under Motown Records. And this was his 11th studio album.
Damn.
Right?
What?
I was like, my man was churning out these songs.
And that's when albums were like not 21 minutes long.
Right. Right. And bodies of work.
It's three different discs.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, it was a rallying cry in so many ways, right? And it's nearly 50 years later now for us. Like, I still return to this album. It is an album that, again, I think is a complete story. It's an album that challenges us fundamentally. Um, and I think one of the things that he's really asking in this album and in the video, there was an official video for this album that was released in 2019 at the Congressional Black Caucus, which I think is really interesting because I don't know that Marvin Gaye would agree with the views of the Congressional Black Caucus because he was very radical in his orientation to the world. But he asks the question of who really cares to save a world in despair? And I think that ties in to everything we have been saying today.
So, what a hard question
Uh-huh.
to answer now, right?
Right. Right.
I think yes, just because I'm selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to that,
Right.
right? It comes down to my selfishness and prioritization of my future self,
Yes.
right? But then right after that,
Yes.
the kindness is power, and that we're all
Right.
getting this shit together.
Right.
What like we got? We have to change that mindset from because if you don't have that abundance mindset,
Right.
I think it does the opposite of what people think of as abundance.
100%.
Abundance isn't 9 people making all the decisions for the world.
No.
It's not 19 people financing the entire world. That's not
No.
abundance.
No.
That's scarcity.
Ooh.
Right? So if we have these abundant mindsets, and that's why it's so actively trying to keep all of this shit that we've talked about
Right.
mainstream.
Yes.
Right? Like Marvin Gaye was able to do it after 11 albums. Marvin Gaye does this as his first album. Buy Marvin Gaye, go over here.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
even the timing of Lauryn Hill. Right? Lauryn
It's
Hill
the
was,
timing.
Lauryn Hill
Yes.
was a 4 to 5 freaking movie star.
Yes.
Right? She was in Sister Act.
Yep.
Right? She was supposed to be in Charlie's Angels.
One of my favorite movies of all time, Sister Act.
Sister Act 1 and 2.
Both.
Sister Act 2 is
Sister Act 2 is better. Okay. Yes. Yes, we're good. Yeah.
But she was supposed to show her baby dad is a Marley.
Uh-huh.
So she's Marley level in music.
Right.
Right? She's in Sister Act with Whoopi.
Yep.
When Whoopi
when Whoopi was the
right?
the star.
She's 22 and she's supposed to be in Charlie's Angels.
Yep.
She just said no because she didn't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because she didn't have time.
That's a legitimate superstar.
Right.
Who's able to make that type of music.
Yes.
Right? The Alchemist is not in your face radical.
No.
But it's quietly, loudly radical. Right? Your book is the opposite. I think it's even the title. The title,
yes,
or it's in your face. It's like, hey,
yes,
look here and be bold enough to actually.
Right.
There's all different ways to say these things, but like, that's not what's getting played on the radio. That's not what's at the top of the bestseller list.
No,
that's not what's getting pushed.
Right.
Because we want to maximize people's potential to an extent.
And you look at what's being rewritten now, right? As it's like now, I don't know. I saw this the other day. J.D. Vance, his new book, Communion, is the same title as Bell Hooks' Communion. And if you don't know Bell Hooks, revolutionary Black feminist,
you don't know about Bell Hooks,
you should. You will, and you will
by the end of this.
And this is what we see, right? We see a systemic effort to override and to discredit and to push down critical theology, right? To push down revolutionary intellectuals. And we still see this today, is my point, right? The larger point of the algorithm, the record labels. You see so many brilliant Black artists going independent now, and there's a reason for that, because the labels are keeping people trapped. We could do a whole show in of itself on a lot of the major American music labels' ties to Israel.
Yeah.
And so Yes, and so you look at this, right, and you look at the history and what was happening, especially during Marvin Gaye when he was writing this album. You have, you know, the album itself is a response to the upheavals in the 60s. Whether it's the Watts riots in 65 or Bloody Thursday, which I think was 1969. Um, and that, was a conflict over land. It was a conflict over a park. Um, and so you see this album as a response to those things, as a way to encourage people to dig into this history differently. And that's culture. That is a response to something that has changed or altered history. And we don't get that anymore. We do, but we don't get it to the same degree that it was platformed back then, in my mind.
Getting it from the people that we look to get things from all the time, right?
Yes.
We've been conditioned to look to Jay-Z
and Beyonce.
and Beyonce. Those two above all else, right? Those two above all else. Hey, NFL, how are we gonna calm down after these Black Lives Matter protests?
Oh, we're gonna bring in Jay-Z as the distraction. Same thing with the Roots. He's coming back to the Roots picnic this year.
After all these,
ain't nobody gonna go because the Roots is being raggedy. Don't talk to me after last year. I don't want to hear it.
Listen, no shade.
I don't want to hear it.
You can't have a second chance.
No second chances.
No second chance.
In Philly,
forget the alphabet.
That was
we're done. The alphabet.
But here's the thing. Like, sometimes you just have to know when to close things up and to start something different. Things run their course, and when things get bought out by corporate interests and no longer serve
that fits
the people.
I'm gonna say this to Jay-Z too.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, we're in a time where I think we have to decide what we want to allow to continue. And I know legacy is important. I know cultural institutions are important. But I'm looking at things like the Roots. I'm looking at things like Essence Fest. And these are spaces that used to be barometers of community progress. They're spaces that used to be barometers of true culture, right? Not nepotism. And when those things become pillars of corporate culture, it's time to then transition those things back out of the lexicon. And I think sometimes that means that this shit ain't always going to make money.
Yeah.
It's not always going to make money. It's going
to be impact first. And that's like, even with those greats, right? Like, Beyonce was part of Destiny's Child. They weren't making no money. They were doing that shit because they loved it.
Yes.
They loved the perform. They loved the artistry. They loved to do it together to an extent. So they didn't. And then she went off on her own and she chased the artistry.
Right.
Bro, like, the storytelling. You talk about people that impact hip hop.
Right.
You can't have a conversation about this genre. You can't have a conversation about damn near anything in America without him. Right. He's a big billionaire, right? That's where it gets to.
Right.
Once you cross over to that, like, we have to understand that we can get off this, but the financial difference between being wealthy and being a billionaire. You can be super, super wealthy,
right,
and be hundreds of millions of dollars away from a billionaire is
we don't understand the gravity of those numbers, and I think
it makes sense.
We've talked about this before, right? It's like people don't truly understand how much that is, and we don't understand how much that is because we don't have access to it, because we shouldn't have access to it, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
It can't. When your 16th great grandchildren is going to be able to live comfortably, and then their 27th removed grandchild is going to be able to live comfortably,
but there will still be people that can't live with the survival,
right?
Like,
and there will be people that die for that expense.
It wasn't that give and take, that balance that has to exist, because nothing is created or destroyed. If you just remember that,
right,
and make decisions with that just ever so in the back of your mind,
yes,
you'll understand balance a lot.
Right.
Right. And if you're going to have billionaires, you have to have sick, dying, homeless children.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
that's like,
you have to have enslavement.
What's going on? Like, that's a question that was asked then.
Yes.
Asked now. When you say everything is everything, that's
yes.
a statement that was meant then, statement that was made now. When you have
yes.
the mission of acknowledging story,
yes.
honoring story, and then deciding how that story fits into the new, that's powerful as hell.
Exactly.
And then when you put the Lauryn Hill of it all together,
Yeah.
like my favorite piece, I think this is my last thing that I'll say about the album, but like it's an album about love. We've already said that. It's an album about self-love. It's an album, or it's a track on there about her love for her son.
Yes.
Something that people told her not to have because of
Yep.
something people told her to cover, right?
Yeah.
There's hurt from a love that she lost.
Yep.
There's rebirth of her heart and her soul, and she gives that to new love.
Right.
Right. So it's all about love, but she misses that day of school. The
100%.
first hit on there.
100%.
They made that album in her elementary school. Right, so they made it in the school she went to on a Saturday, brought the kids in, and the question, look, when they're doing roll call, and she's not.
Yes.
Gets to Lauryn Hill.
Yep.
Lauryn Hill.
Where you at?
No answer. And to miss the day that they talk about love, the miseducation isn't necessarily her being uneducated. It's her having to go get educated on her
to actually go back outside the institutional pillar. Yep. Yep.
What is taught and what is not taught, you have to learn and you have to unlearn. Like, I think we nailed it with this 4 pieces of art.
Yes.
Do you have any like final takeaways?
I think my takeaway is bringing us back to that question. Like, who really cares to save a world in despair? Who really cares to save a community in despair? Who really cares to save an individual in despair?
Which one?
And that's it. Like, that's.
I was gonna ask which one is the most important, but they're all the same.
They're all one and the same, and they can't exist independent of each other. If I'm not well, I can't make you well. If neither of us are well, we can't do shit for the community. And if the community isn't well, the world isn't well. And it's like those 3 questions together and the interdependence that they require. That's the answer right there. Like we don't have any choice.
No, and it is. It's so simple, right? It's so simple.
Love is so simple.
But it's hard.
And it's hard.
It's easy.
It's divine and difficult always.
Beautiful. And it's like, do that.
Yes.
That's the foundation.
Yes.
Do that first.
Yes.
Like, do that first. Don't worry about nothing else. Don't worry about what's on the socials. Don't worry. I don't even think people watch TV no more, but like, don't worry about what's going on outside you.
No.
Get yourself right.
Keep love at the core and know that there's a journey in that, right? I can always say this, Toni Morrison. Love is divine always, and it's also always difficult. And that's the Lauryn Hill album, right? That's Marvin Gaye's album. That's their careers, frankly.
That's everything we did.
That's everything we do. And everything we've done and everything that we will continue to do. That's it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Him and Her podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, share.
All the things.
Questions. Send us what you're reading.
Hey, yes. What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are your thoughts? And what questions do you have? Most importantly.
All right. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Boom. Another one.